Do you think you're a pretty good photographer, but like most of us, do you wonder how much better could you be? Maybe, could you even be a great photographer? In this video, I'm going to share a technique that I use on the images I prepare for my own clients. When I was going over the images in a recent session, I thought to myself that the technique I was using really helps you focus on your best work. And so I thought, I'm going to share this with you to help you answer the question, how good can you be? Welcome to the channel, Hayward here. How good can you be? How much harder of a question could you possibly ask yourself as an artist or a photographer or whatever, right? It's a really hard question, but I know I have to ask myself that all the time. Am I improving? Is my photography and my art getting better? And it's in my opinion, but it's also in the opinion of other people, but other people can't help you until you've gotten as far as you can with assessing what you really want to do. So my technique, which takes a group of your images and helps you weed through to the very best of them, can help give you a snapshot, pun intended, of where your best work is right now. Because today, good work is everywhere. iPhones can do good work. They really can. But great work, that is what you're really after. And in order to assess your skill, where you are, where you want to go, you have to get the great out of the good. And this is going to be a little painful, but you've got to get rid of the good, or at least take them out of your sight, so you can really only be looking at the great. Well, how do you do this? What I've got here is I've got a portfolio of images on my laptop here that I shot the session I was talking about earlier. It was for a ballet school. And the reason I'm bringing this one up is because there's 143 images in this portfolio before you started grading them. And as I'm scrolling through here, you can see that there's a lot of them that look very similar. And I'm sure you have this problem in your portfolio too. You look at a few images and go, let's say it's landscapes. Well, it's 3 different angles, slightly different weather, sun. How do you pick? And you have to be ruthless, and you actually have to establish some criteria to choose from. I'm going to share my criteria. It's for portraits, but you'll understand what I'm after when you see how this works. Be ruthless. You've got to actually throw away or get rid of or not be able to look at images. You've got to take them away. It's a psychological thing. It matters. And if I were to show this many images to a client, their head would explode. They would say, I can't choose. Just give me them all, which is terrible. Okay, so you're going to go through your images multiple times. The first pass is the easiest, low-hanging fruit. I am going to assume that they're all well exposed, well composed, or they wouldn't be in your favorites gallery, right? So we've got a level of quality here. Everything I'm going to talk about is very intangible, and only you can set these standards for yourself, but you have to set them. You really have to do this. So on your first pass, you want to look for images that don't have a well-defined focus or subject. In the case of portraits, I'm looking for anything that takes my eye away from the subject in the portrait. As you look at these ballerinas in here, that's my goal with these. The first pass is I want to find out anything that makes me look to the edges of the frame or at her hands or feet and not at the image as a whole or the pose. I know it's a little soft and fluffy, but we're talking about a really hard thing here, getting to the best of the best. Is it making sense? Good. Okay, now on the next pass, what you're looking for is the unique, the quirky, the different, the exceptional. Again, you've got to define this, but it has to jump out and be different. For me, a quality photograph always has something unique about it, and there is no way I can quantify unique for you. I can say for me, in this particular session with these ballerinas, one of the visual themes I had in mind was Degas ballerinas. If you've never seen Degas ballerina paintings, really you should look them up. They are absolutely stunning. They have a total feeling to them. I had that in my mind as I was shooting this session. So these three images that I'm looking at on the screen here, they're good. They're all good. As I look at them, only one of them is unique and following along with the theme I was shooting for. That's this one on the right here. This one on the right has all the elements. She's got an attention-grabbing a rose in her hand. She's got her head bowed. Her posture is perfect. I hit the edge light on her face just right. That's the winner. The other two are really good, but guess what? They go away. Okay, moving on to the next criteria to cut your images. Let me just step back here 1 second and say, when I shot this session, I had two final product goals in mind. One was a 20-image album, and another was a 6-image folio. So we went from 143 to 20 to 6. So that's the process I was telling you about. So the next criteria I use when I'm looking over the images is the image evocative, or do you feel that there's a story in it? We're getting deep into it now. This is when you're really digging deep and saying, does your image make the viewer feel something? So I've got here, as I've got my 20 image selection, I'm just going to jump ahead to that. And I'm going to bring up one image in particular for the story. And that is this image. When you look at this image, if it doesn't rock you back on your feet, the way she's looking at the viewer and make you go, what is she thinking? I would be shocked, because it's just an expression that is looking right in the viewer's eyes and makes the viewer wonder, what is she thinking? Just looking right into your soul. Gosh, this exposure is so good because it just makes you look at it and it sucks you into it. It's got story. Okay, this is the last selection criteria. This is the acid test. This is the one some people probably shy away from a little bit. Being a professional, I'm more used to it. But I'm going to jump ahead here to my final 6 selections from this session. And I'm going to tell you what my final criteria to choose my favorite image out of the 6 is. And that is, would you print, frame, and hang this image with your own money? And a lot of people get really kind of funny at that point, but that's the acid test, isn't it? Are you proud of it? Would you put it on a wall? Would you spend money on it? If you would, goes in the portfolio. And in this particular case, it's this image. I mean, this is an incredible image, more because of the subject. This ballerina that she can even perform this move. Not many humans can do this. It is so extreme, but yet so beautiful. It almost looks abstract. It's a person doing it, but because the move is so extreme, it's so beautiful and abstract and just allows me to do my photography and make this exceptional image. And yes, I will be printing, framing, and hanging this at the ballet school. So if you have gotten to this point, that's your last criteria. You should be able to know which images at this point should go in your portfolio as the best of your work. That's my 4 steps to get the great from the good and get rid of the good, right? Get rid of the good. Only stick with the great. Force yourself forward. You won't regret it, and you'll have a better vision of who you are as a photographer. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've gotten something out of it. As always, hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. Until the next video, cheers.